Welcome into day 3 of WFUV Sports' Radio Row coverage down in Louisiana, and today we have a very special guest. I'm Evan Harkin, joined by Nick Guzman, and next to me we have Leigh Steinburg, a very accomplished sports agent representing a lot of big names across sports, and this year he'll be hosting the 38th annual Leigh Steinburg Super Bowl party, where he will present the DeNicola Award for Humanitarianism. Drew Brees and Sean Payton are two men who will be up for awards this weekend at the event. So, Leigh, before we start talking all about the party, how you doing? How's Louisiana treating you so far?
I love it. It's one of my favorite places. I mean, once you have etouffee, you're spoiled for any other type of food. The Cajun and the people are really hospitable, and the atmosphere's really terrific.
Awesome. Yeah, we had some beignets last night. The food down here definitely a lot better than up north. But what does the DeNicola Humanitarianism Award mean to you?
Well, it's actually Steinberg DeNicola, and I created it to try to put focus on the really powerful things that people in football do off the field in terms of bringing wellness to the community. So we're giving Gail Benson, the owner of the Saints, an award. We're giving Sean Payton, the coach of Denver, an award. Drew Brees, the first African-American woman to ever head an organization, Sandra Douglas Morgan, who is president of the Raiders. And so we do that. We have a brain health summit where people talk about what we know about concussion and healing and hope.
Well, Drew's right over there actually doing an interview right now, but being down in Louisiana, we figured we'd talk about Drew a little bit more. What specifics was he doing off the field that got him able up there to win the award?
Because he, after they had the hurricane, he became a community leader and was out relentlessly raising funds, raising hope. He got out of his role as simply a football player and became a community leader and a symbol of resilience and resurrection for the whole area.
And Leigh, you've also shown a passion for and done a lot for brain injuries, cognitive health, that kind of thing. Why is that something that you're passionate about?
I had a crisis of conscience back in the 1980s because I'm representing half the starting quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. They kept getting hit in the head, and when we would go to doctors and ask how many are too many, what's the magic number to contemplate retirement, they had no answers. So I started holding concussion conferences back in 1994, and Troy Aikman and Steve Young and Warren Moon, Drew Bledsoe all came to the first one, and we've continued to have them since. The problem is that multiple concussions trigger an exponentially higher rate of Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, premature senility, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, and depression. So, and players tend to be in denial. So the reason we set up this concussion foundation, which if you're interested, you can go to LeighSteinburgFoundation.org, and it is to try to raise money for more research. The good news is that there are 2 potential treatments that can rehabilitate a concussed brain. So the thought always was that once you got hurt that way, a TBI, it only got worse, never better. But now there's neuroplasticity, which triggers neurofeedback, which is shown to heal the brain, and something called RTMS. So we're trying to find solution to make the game safer.
Yeah, and on top of that, another aspect of these parties besides focusing on brain damage is focusing on social impact outside of the community, outside of football. Who are some other notable names that'll be at the party that you think maybe represent that social impact off the field?
Well, we're giving an award to Mark Morial, who's head of the National Urban League, and we're going to move a family into the first home they'll ever own tomorrow. And so it's people like that, but all the brain health leaders, all the people from the different charities. I mean, we've done, we sent a water machine when the Super Bowl was in Miami to cholera-torn Haiti where people were dying from impure drinking water, and we sent down one that could do 140,000. So I think the key is how sports can impact society in a positive way.
And you've had these parties for decades now, all in different cities based on where the Super Bowl is. Have you ever had it in New Orleans before? And what's different or special about the New Orleans parties?
So they have atmosphere.
Yeah.
In other words, we're having one at the Jazz Museum. And so New Orleans jazz, their food's distinctive, they've got beads and symbols, and they have a real culture here. Last time we had it at Jazzland, which are these huge Mardi Gras floats. That was really fun. And another time we took a white riverboat down the river with the big paddle wheels like out of Mark Twain times. And so they've always been special here, and we'll have some performances of jazz at the party, and that museum itself is just a whole history of the evolution of jazz.
And Leigh, obviously, you're such an accomplished agent, a legendary agent for so many great athletes. I'm curious, when you're potentially meeting with an athlete about representing them, how do you sell yourself that you're the agent for them?
It starts with just experience, that I've had 64 first-round draft picks in football, and the first pick in the draft 8 years, and 12 players in the Hall of Fame. But then it's about trying to use listening skills to draw out another person. If I can understand the deepest anxieties and fears and greatest hopes and dreams of an athlete, and put my head into his and heart into his, and get a deeper understanding of where they're trying to head in life. And then you talk about being a role model, retracing roots, going back to the high school, collegiate, professional community, and setting up those community programs. You talk about second career. And basically, but the first thing is path to the draft. And so it's how an athlete trains, it's what's going to elevate them.
And we'd love to talk to Leigh Steinburg all afternoon, but you actually have a very important party to get setting up soon, which is the 38th annual Leigh Steinburg Super Bowl party. So Leigh, thank you so much for joining us, and don't go anywhere. We're going to be back after this break with some more WFUV sports coverage of Super Bowl Radio Row.